When a quiet little black girl walked into the classroom, no one paid her any attention. She didn't speak. She didn't raise her hand. Some even thought she wasn't smart. But one day, with a single math problem, she stood up, walked to the board, and left the entire class, including the teacher, absolutely speechless. If this story inspired you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button for more powerful stories. Who is she? Does she even talk? One of the students whispered. When little Amara walked into the 5th grade classroom of Jefferson Elementary School, nobody noticed much about her. She wore simple clothes, kept her head down, and barely spoke a word. Her deep brown eyes often stared quietly out the window during recess. The teacher, Mrs. Carter, introduced her briefly. "Class, this is Amara. She's just moved here from Atlanta. Please make her feel welcome." But in a room full of noisy kids and chatter about video games and weekend trips, Amara's quiet presence almost vanished into the background. She sat in the back of the class. Never raised her hand. Ate her lunch alone. Even during group work, she'd quietly write answers on a notepad and hand it over without saying much. The other kids, especially the more popular ones, didn't see anything special in her. Some even made jokes. "Hey, maybe she doesn't know English," one boy laughed. "Or maybe she's just slow," another girl said under her breath. But what they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Amara had a secret. A gift. And that secret was about to shake the entire classroom, teacher included. It was a Friday morning when Mrs. Carter rolled in the whiteboard and said something that would change everything. "All right, class, today, we're going to do something fun. A little challenge." The students perked up. Challenges usually meant candy prizes or a homework pass. Mrs. Carter smiled. "This is a brain teaser. It's not in your textbooks, and even grown-ups struggle with it. Let's see if anyone can solve it." She wrote on the board. "If 2x plus 3 is equal to 15, what is the value of x?" Most students squinted at it. A few whispered among themselves. The top-performing student, Tyler, raised his hand confidently. "Is it 6? "Good try," Mrs. Carter said, "but not quite." Another student guessed, "Is it 5? "Nope." The guesses continued, and the teacher kept shaking her head. The room buzzed with frustration. Then, quietly, almost like a whisper, Amara's hand went up. The class went silent. Mrs. Carter looked surprised. "Yes, Amara." Amara stood up. Her voice was calm but steady. "X equals 6. Mrs. Carter raised her eyebrows. "Are you sure?" Amara nodded. "Yes. You subtract 3 from both sides, then divide by 2. Like this." She walked up to the board, for the first time, and solved it with smooth, confident steps. 2x plus 3 is equal to 15. 2x equals 12. X equals 6. The class stared. Even Mrs. Carter was quiet for a second. Then she said, "That's exactly right." For the first time, all eyes were on Amara. And not in pity or judgment, but in shock. After that day, everything changed. On Monday, when Mrs. Carter put another math problem on the board, a few students turned to look at Amara, not with ridicule, but curiosity. When nobody knew the answer, she raised her hand again. And again, she got it right. It wasn't just about getting the answer, it was how she got it. She explained the steps clearly, even better than the textbook. She spoke calmly, confidently. Like it all made sense to her in ways others couldn't see. By Wednesday, she wasn't sitting alone anymore. A girl named Mia asked if she could sit with her at lunch. A boy named Jordan asked for help on his homework. Even Tyler, the so-called smartest kid in class, came over with his math workbook. "Can you explain this to me?" he asked. Amara smiled. "Sure." Mrs. Carter couldn't believe what she was seeing. She began giving Amara more advanced problems, just to see how far her skills went. Word problems. Algebra. Even early geometry. Amara solved them all. Effortlessly. One day after class, Mrs. Carter called Amara to her desk. "Amara," she said, "I think you might be gifted. Have you ever taken a math placement test before?" Amara shrugged. In my old school, they didn't let me. Why not? She looked down. Because I looked different. Because I was too quiet. Mrs. Carter's heart sank. Well, she said with a warm smile, that's going to change now. The school arranged for Amara to take a special gifted program test. Not only did she pass, she scored higher than any student in the district's history. Soon, the principal, school board members, and even local news reporters were talking about her. She's a math prodigy, one official said. A future scientist or engineer, another whispered. But Amara didn't care about the attention. She was just happy solving problems and helping her classmates understand math. Mrs. Carter started a new math club, and made Amara the assistant leader. For the first time in her life, Amara wasn't just a face in the back of the classroom. She was a leader. A mentor. A star. One day, during math club, she stood at the board explaining a complex pattern in fractions. The other students were locked in, following her every word. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Mia shouted, "Amara, you're the smartest person I've ever met." Tyler added, "Seriously, you should be teaching us instead." Amara blushed, but her eyes sparkled. She looked over at Mrs. Carter, who was smiling with pride. And at that moment, Amara realized something powerful. She wasn't too quiet. She wasn't too different. She was exactly who she was meant to be. Amara's journey didn't stop in that classroom. Within months, she was invited to a state-level math competition. She went on to win first place, defeating kids several years older than her. But what mattered even more than medals or scores, was what happened in her own school. Because of Amara, Jefferson Elementary started a new initiative to support underrepresented students in STEM. More girls, especially black girls, were encouraged to join math and science clubs. Mrs. Carter gave more students the chance to shine, no matter how quiet or different they were. And the students? They changed too. They started listening more. Respecting each other more. Supporting each other. All because of one little girl who once sat in the back of the room, silent, invisible, overlooked. Until she picked up the chalk. And stunned the class with her genius math skills. Sometimes, brilliance hides behind silence. Sometimes, the one you least expect turns out to be the brightest light in the room. Amara didn't just solve a math problem, she solved the problem of being underestimated. And in doing so, she taught a whole school that genius has no color, no volume, no limits.